Hello.
Hi there, Boris. Boris is in LA. So we have got a few more people coming, but as I promised, I would come on time. I'm going to get started with some conversation. Is that okay with everybody?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, so if you could all put yourself on mute, and then we'll, that would be great. And I hope that we'll have possibilities of conversation. But what I want to do is to share a few slides to begin with. Adriana, yes, she's on a planet somewhere.
She's on a planet.
Good morning.
Good morning. Now, one of the things I just wanted to do before I start, I have pressed record. That was at the top of my piece of paper. Thank you, Scott. Scott and I are planning to do some of these in the Asia Pacific, Australia region, so that he doesn't have to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and Audrey doesn't have to be at midnight. So that will come. So here we've got California, we've got Malaysia, we've got Wales, we've got another part of actually England as opposed to Wales with Cheltenham, Fanny's there, and we've got is it Melbourne, Scott? Yeah, okay, it's Melbourne, and then Tammy, Adriana, and myself are in Las Vegas. So what I want to do today, if you remember on my trailer, it was about sharing and shaping our destiny. So my passion about creating our future together is that we have here a magical conversation. So in many ways, this is not about today and it's not about the past. It's about tomorrow and the future. And it's stretching ourselves out to an imagined place. And some people in this pandemic find that a really scary place to be, but I'm actually going to make a very good assumption, and we shouldn't make always assumptions, but I make the assumption because you're here, you are very willing to be part of an imagination group. And hopefully you'll all nod to that. So one of the things I want to do to begin with is to ask your permission if I can share a few slides to get us in the mood. And in there, I have got some quotes, indeed, even from people who are on the call. But I wanted to put them into a rhythm for us. And as we do this, I'd like you to think about where do you stretch your imagination out? What does the future? So I thought it might be useful to put a timeline on it. So let's take 2030. So the reason I picked 2030 is it's a nice 10 years piece. And here in 2020, on February 2nd, I was actually in Manila presenting at a conference where my first slide was, hey, it's 2030. And haven't we got a long way? We've got to a place where there is harmony, men and women are running business. And I painted a lovely, harmonious picture because that's my passion in the future. That hashtag world harmony. And what I want to do is we share a few ideas and then start thinking about shaping is we're not going to get into action yet. That will be maybe our next session in August, but this is purely to be creative input and be also thinking about some, there are say practical realities of what might happen in the future in 10 years where we probably have advances in AI, in how we travel, in how we exist. We may even have chips in our body. I don't know. And going into the unknown is really scary for lots of people, but I think we're all of a mindset that we can do that. We can actually get into the unknown because, as hopefully we know, crisis, the Chinese symbol for crisis is danger and opportunity. And I reckon as we're all entrepreneurs and we're all self-development thinkers, we actually understand the danger that we're in, but with some sense of excitement. I hope that's true. So let me just share a few slides that I want you to think about, as you're looking at them, about how you would quote your future. And here's me in my technology trying to get this right. Here we are. So as I talk about these things, I want you to think about, what is your one sentence? What is the possibility that you could actually imagine making it positive, making it not necessarily unrealistic, make it some realistic, but it to be in imagination, okay? So let me just go through these. Hopefully this won't, it will just stimulate your mind as you think about the words, okay? Firstly, I want to just reassess that what we're doing is without judgment, anger, or coercion. And the reason that I developed this idea was that I want to have a space where we can be creative without being critiqued, without being demonized or anything. So anything is possible, but I do approach it in a positive way. So anything we suggest, we accept, we listen, we hear it, and we think about the possibilities. And my question is, you know, why can't we all get on together? How do we grow a conscious collective view of our natural differences? Because all of us on the call, we're all highly developed. I think all of us are well developed personally. I want to think about the collective, and I will attach some significance to what I've put on my board behind me. So the main thing is I want you to use your knowledge. You're all very bright, intelligent, aware people, and value your experience, but really get into that imagination, that curiosity, that something different. And everything goes. Nothing is forbidden. And I have my magic wand here, okay? So the goal is that you are the lighthouse of your life. And we're living in troubled seas. So as a storm approaches, and they will, it's different to when the sea is tranquil and the weather is fair. So I want you to think about, as you realize you're the keeper of your lighthouse, you've always been there. The lighthouse doesn't do anything to the sea. It stands there as a guiding light, a vision, a message, a vision. And I believe that there are many of us out there now sending messages. And what I've collected in the first few slides is words that have been said to me online. So I've highlighted some of the words. So for instance, this was on Facebook. I just asked everybody, what was your one-liner? And I just highlighted some. And as you look at the words, curiosity, compassion, kindness, heart-opening, safer, mutual respect, authentic. I like this one, a good night's sleep, definitely good. I also highlighted on Nick Heath's one that it's not a world of greed and fear. So all of us very positive thinking people, we tend to use lots of words about compassion and respect and trust. And what I want to do is also to remember what we don't want. So when you think about your one-liner, think about what you don't want. And now I have put up two longer quotes, which are, one of them is from you, Dennis. I hope you don't mind me sharing it, but I highlighted some of the words in what Dennis said. So my desired future is one of hope, because without hope, and then he quotes concepts like vision, purpose, aim, objective, target, creativity, etc., etc. For me, it was this sense of hope. Otherwise, we won't have meaning. So what does that look like in a world where at the moment, a lot of people are very tortured about what's going wrong? And this one from Angel Rebo, who again is great light for me, a lighthouse, about a world of pure acceptance. So when we look at valuing differences in the future worlds, can we get past some of the restrictions that have been out there at the moment in the argumentative world? And I like this as well, giving selfishly instead of expecting in return. So this idea of where do we sit between our new world of hope and humanity and commercial competitiveness, which we also need to think about and understand. My next one was from Enrico, who was on the call last time and couldn't make it this time. But I like this because it talks about a fairer society. So I want you to think about what is a fairer society? Is it everybody's equal, or is it everybody's unique? I think we can blend the two, but I think there's obviously this thing about feminine and masculine energies in unity, which is a passion of mine. But how does that look in reality? And this is the thing I want to keep on coming back to. What does it actually look like? But I love this idea of freshness, newness, peacefulness in total harmony with nature. And I know many of you in lockdown who have gardens and have that facility to get out, as I do onto the walkway. We recognize the power of that. Now, there are a lot of people in lockdown who don't have that capacity. So as we imagine our future ahead, how can we encapsulate that at all? This is a wonderful friend of mine in Canada who can't be here today. But in Canada, they have an Institute for Caring Citizenship. I feel that is part of where my future vision is. I hope the future world be one in which we care for each other and it's visible, valued and supportive. And just as a bit of information, this is a planned support for people with disabled, severely disabled children, which Donna has, and how the community actually comes together. So it's not an institution that you put those people away, it's where it's part of the community. And for me, my future vision is world harmony. So I think for me, this is incredibly important. And again, there may be some things in our desired future which are already happening somewhere in the world. For me, this is critical in our thought process today, is value creation. Because this is about each one of you, the me, the self-value, the way we respect ourselves is really important. And for me, in the world of looking at what's helpful and what's been offered, there are a huge number of us and others who are really helping people to get over trauma, get over stuckness, self-development, personal development. That is key. And I kind of expecting that all of you have some way on that journey. And the you and me is, what do we give to relationships? What do we give to every relationship that we come into contact with, including the difficult ones and especially the difficult ones? So in a world ahead, in my desired future, where people are loving and giving, that's everybody. And I've often said this, I don't believe there are any difficult people, they're just difficult situations that we need to learn how to manage them. So the we, the end part of the value creation, is that community, it's that collective vision that we have, which we are part of. And on the way, we have those relationships which make up that bigger entity. Now, this idea of value creation is central to my visioned, desired future. And it's something I use in my life always. It comes from a Buddhist principle that it's a bit like the oxygen mask on the aeroplane, that, you know, we need to look after ourselves. But I think there is also a sense of selfishness sometimes in the way we always focus on self-value. And I don't want to put anywhere else, but I think understanding this flow is really important. And I often say, you know, if you get stuck in one of these arrows, if you get stuck in the me arrow, you can be either egotistical or a victim. And if you get stuck in the you and me arrow, you can become codependent. And if we get stuck in the we value, we can be only commercial and materialistic. So we need the flow. And I want you to think about that in terms of how we discuss the future. Now, I wanted to just read this. I don't know whether Nadia's on the call yet, but I asked Nadia about her vision of the future. And this is a very personal one. And I think I'd like to read this to you because each one of us could write this into our personal life. So this is her future, where she's working towards creating an IPO for her product. But in the afternoon, she retreats to her home office. She's writing her book. She's sharing with her audiences. And in the evening, she's with the man, a love of her life, which is what she desires to bring into her life. And she describes him quite personally. And I love the energy of this. He has kind eyes and a beautiful smile. I'm looking at him while he's cooking dinner on the barbecue. I have to say, even barefoot, he's styled. You're there, aren't you, with it? You're feeling this energy. And we sit together on the patio. For now, you can feel the energy of that, sitting together, sharing the amazing day, looking at the sunset. The atmosphere radiates with love and happiness. So I think sometimes it's very good to write our intentions in the first person as if we are there. And I don't know about you, but I know that I had written many, many times about meeting my soulmate and the vision, maybe not as precisely as this, but when I met Jim, I knew that he was the person I was meant to meet, to be on this adventure, to bring me here to America today. So I want to thank Nadia for that and encourage us all to write our personal one. So maybe we write it for our business as well. And maybe we encourage CEOs to actually write it as to what they are doing in 10 years' time, walking into their office, wearing the hat of magical conversations, building this knowing, loving, trusting, without judgment, without anger, without coercion. I have a passion for magical conversations, but they are not pie in the sky. They are a way of being that enables us to always know ourselves, attempt to value other people as best as we can. I'm not saying we can always know everybody, but we can get to grips with differences, as I've experienced and I've shared with many of you with the gender dynamics map. And sometimes we do need a bit of magic today. And I think, and I hope, that is something we all will honor today. And thank you. Hi to everybody who's joined since I started that slideshow. I hope that it brought some ideas to mind about the kind of words that we're hearing around us in terms of what our desired future is about. I just want to ask Nadia, were you there as I read your story out?
Yes, I was there. Kind of.
Okay, I just wanted to honor you because now everybody knows your vision ahead.
Yes.
And I want to thank you. And welcome to Lisa. Lisa, who's actually across the road from me and who's partnering with me in Corporate Heart International. Welcome, Lisa.
Okay.
So thank you, Nadia, for sharing that, because I think it was very personal. But for me, what I loved about that very personal trip into the future was that I think all of you could feel yourself on the patio with Nadia. And I suggest we all look forward to being invited to your wedding or whatever happens in the future.
Are you referring to my wedding? Because that was not in the plan.
No. Well, or the party of celebration, maybe, whatever it is. So the goal in doing that was, and I hope some of those words stimulated you about hope for the future, a world of acceptance, some very honorable and gorgeous and exciting words. And so I wanted to just ask those of you, especially those who haven't shared online, and what would be your, and make it quick, one sentence that explains a desired future that could embrace yourself and all. And I was going to invite Georgina first, if you would share what your word of the future might be.
I had a feeling you were going to do that. One sentence, it's a bit of a challenge because, as you know, it's like, why use 3 words when I can use 100,000? But I think that all the things that have been expressed so far is very much along the lines of what I envisage. And the feelings that I have is a wonderful sense of joy from the fabulous and abundant creativity and innovation that is imbued with a sense of love, joy, compassion, empathy for humanity, and a willingness to explore the adventures of new possibilities and opportunities as and when they arise. That's it, really. I think that we're pretty much singing from the same hymn book, whatever. It really is something that I see as happening now. It's not happening in the future, it's happening now.
Yes. So almost that the future is today as well as in 10 years' time. And so I love that. And there's a sense of excitement about, you know, what the possibilities are coming in. So I would like to ask Adolfo your view, because again, from a very different perspective, a man's perspective in here, and all of you be ready with what you would like to share. Adolfo, I'm going to give you.
Sure. So I really apologize for the background noise. Usually my neighbors aren't drilling in their concrete, but this morning apparently they decided that was a good idea. So I apologize ahead of time.
That's okay.
But I wrote the sentence down. I envision an inclusive, productive, loving, and supporting community that is enlightened and sustainable. So those are very key words that I think we should achieve as goals.
Okay, that's great. And I think the reason I highlighted those words in the slides was there were key words which are to do with us. You know, so I always love everybody else's worlds, but I also reference that sometimes I don't use other people's words, so I love to hear them. And so they resonate, and actually they send a ripple of energy out there. If we could multiply this and multiply it. Yes?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, inclusive, they're all important and hopefully
Yes.
impactful, right? So productive, loving, supporting, enlightened, and sustainable.
Yeah. Now I'd like to ask Fanny next, because I have never met Fanny before, and I welcome you to this call. We met through a WhatsApp text group, so I'd never actually met you before. So tell me what your thoughts are for the desired future.
Well, it's interesting that the theme that's run through my life has been balance. And for the future, I wrote this down. I put knowing that balance is there, lying bang in the middle between positivity and negativity, taking comfort and knowing that balance is a slim line that we're going to hover either side of constantly, but to do that happily. Because if you know that you can do that happily, it gives us the feeling that we're allow us to feel free to be ourselves. So it's a bit more about just giving the permission of just to chill out a bit, really, I think.
I love that, to chill out a bit. That is wonderful. Thank you. And Rebecca, let's ask Rebecca. Rebecca is a friend of mine near Disneyland. That's all I can remember you said. What's your one line for the future?
I would have to say, going into my inner child, when you're a child, you always think of the future. And as an inner child, I was like the wonder. Continue with that wonder of possibilities, and more open-minded, you know, more not really trying to construct it, but just let it come to you, you know, because as a child you're playing and you're imagining, you know, what is going to happen next, and you don't even have like a structure, expectation. There we go, a structure. Yeah. It's like you just let things flow, and when whatever happens, you're happy because it just flows.
Yeah.
So I think going back to your inner child.
Yes. Welcome, Linda. So we're just looking at one sentences. So I'm going to ask Audrey, because Audrey is in Malaysia and it's midnight, and then we'll go to Scott. So Audrey, what's your desired future line?
Well, due to this COVID-19 and the pandemic, I mean, you know, we are seriously thinking about mental health. And so we're working towards this and hoping that we'll be able to achieve something, because I was just saying that 3 things in human life which is important to me is the first one is to be kind, the second is to be kind, and the third is to be kind, because that's my motto. Everyone we meet is fighting a battle we know nothing about. I'm fighting a battle here. I've got challenges because I'm a caregiver. it's okay to not be okay. I just sort of feel, just don't give up. That's what I feel.
Oh, I love that. Yes, so just don't give up.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Scott. Middle of the night, Scott, in Melbourne, Australia.
Hey,
We'll give it
hey
a round
guys,
of
how are you?
applause for getting up this time tonight.
Well, I just want to share something with you quickly. I've just spent 6 days chasing rainbows, literally. It has been the most magnificent. My son and I did a road trip, and we literally got within 5 meters of the end of a rainbow. Wow. So I'll send through the photos to Pauline. It is just gorgeous. So my sentence, it's a little bit ad hoc, but we'll get through it, and it won't make sense, but it will. So I want to see strength in communities again. I want to see specificity in conversation so that we actually hear each other, and we turn disability into this ability. So many of people have a disability in so many different versions of it, whether it be a mental health issue, whether it be a physical issue. Let's look at the abilities. Let's stop focusing on the disabilities. We know we've got them. Let's get the abilities out. So disability becomes something big. Right.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And let's go to Adriana. You look as though you're on a spaceship.
Hello, everyone. Can you all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes. So as I was listening to everyone, I envisioned a future that allows us to fully be self-expressed and work in conjunction with AI to enhance our abilities or superpowers. And I say that I envision that particular world where we can express ourselves fully, because I really believe that we're born kind and compassionate and loving, and that we live in a system that throughout the years, it just crushes you. It just demoralizes you. And we spend the rest of our lives, I think 40 after, trying to look for that young child again that was always in the wonder and wanting to feel compassion and kindness. So I envision a world where we can create a space or create a system that allows for everyone to be who they need to be, to express themselves however they want to express themselves, whether you're female or male, or you decide not to be anything but you're just you. That's the kind of world that I envision, and I really believe that that can be possible with the help of artificial intelligence.
Wow.
That was more than a sentence, I know.
That's okay. But I think, you know, Adriana also talked about, you know, the potential for having a chip inside your body is there, you know, and there's a fear around that, and a possibility, you know, that we might have this chip that we can put inside our body, and suddenly we've got the whole of Google inside our head. I can't think of anything worse. That's not in my design future. But, you know, it's something that potentially could come up. And it's like, you know, I was going to say at the beginning, you know, welcome all of you, you're all human beings, and maybe there are 1 or 2 aliens with us too.
I already hate Siri. Can you imagine in my head? Forget about it.
But I think, you know, we have to expect that there will be extraordinary things turning up. We don't know what they are yet. And we've already got amazing platforms which do all sorts of extraordinary things, most of which I don't really understand. But I'm willing to go with the opportunities. So I would like to ask Boris, what you think about the future when it comes to yourself, and also the desired future for business as well, because we are talking about business with each other.
Well, for me, I think business and personal kind of come together anyway, just in my context. But I put down a future where people can live and work with purpose, focused on their unique abilities and valued based on their contributions and value creation.
Yeah, so agree. Yeah. And I think that is something that will change the way we merge business and life, and the energies, the masculine and feminine energies, the diversity, the valuing differences. So thank you.
I think a lot of the issues we're facing today, this would solve if people were living like this.
Yeah, thank you. Tammy, tell us your one-liner.
Oh, that was what you included on the slide.
I did, but this is a live opportunity, and we'll all do it.
I wrote it down. I want to live in a place where conversations are sparked by curiosity, compassion, and kindness that allow the whole story to unfold. Because to me, what we fear and what we fight against and all the negativity, it comes from fear of the unknown. We're afraid of the dark, what we can't see, what we can't feel, we're afraid of. Once it's brought out, the light gets rid of the dark. You need the dark and you need the light. They have to exist together. But light is the love.
And I love that. And I think it's, again, this idea of the lighthouse, because with the slides you saw, the lighthouse actually, it does everything, but it does nothing. It doesn't move. It allows other ships to think about whether they can sail past safely and not get crashed on the rocks. So if we're spreading the light of our messages, how are people receiving them? We won't necessarily know. We have to trust that as we build the infrastructure to support those messages, that it will change. So, Dennis.
Yes.
And notice that Dennis has put a link into the sidebar, which please take note of, because Dennis runs an amazing platform for authors to share their messages from their lighthouses. So I know I printed your line, Dennis, but what's your thought today?
Well, it's not a short sentence, and I'm going to have to run in just a few minutes, but I'll read it again. And it says, my desired future is one of hope, because without hope, concepts like vision, purpose, aim, objective, target, creativity, critical thinking, strategy, tactics, plan, development, aspiration, ambition, achievement, success, accomplishment, fulfillment, remedy, building, solution, results, education, and science would have no meaning. Now that's a long sentence, but as you know, Pauline, I gravitate towards quotes a lot because I think it captures the essence of what we're saying. And I read a quote this morning that I just thought hit the nail on the head, and that was, hope itself is like a star, not to be seen in the sunshine of prosperity, and only to be discovered in the night of adversity. And that's where we are right now. And you and I have had this discussion where, you know, by background, we are entirely focused by what I do on rediscovering humanity. We think the door to humanity is open just slightly, and we put our foot in there. We're not going to let it close. And, you know, we're on a tear right now to get people to, as you've heard me say, less talking and more walking. Let's do something about it. Because if we can just bottle everything that was said so far in this call, yes, and put it on all those empty store shelves here in America that were there a few months ago, we'd be so much farther ahead. Because without that hope, you know, it turns into despair, cynicism, loss of control, you know, depression, and people, yes, just give up because they figure I can't change anything. Well, we disagree with that. We think the folks on this call can start what we call a ripple effect, like the butterfly effect.
Absolutely.
And so one little change at a time, one little bit of hope, I think you can make such a powerful difference.
Thank you. And then thank you for being here, because I know that you do have to whiz off, but it is that cycle, that flow. It's me, it's you and me, it's us, it's continuous. I've used that so much in my life when I've come across a difficult time, and I thought, why is everything against me? And I think, well, what's my responsibility in it? What is my value in it? What am I doing to make a difference? Do I make it different? Do I walk away? Do I just smile? Do I get involved? All those things are choices that we have as we go along. So if you have to, we'll have that link, and anybody else who wants to put their own link in the sidebar, that would be great. And I will report that back to everybody. So let's make sure that everybody has a voice. And I'm going to come to Nadia next, and then Linda, if you're ready. And then Lisa, you and I will have a conversation because we'll explain what we're doing as well. So Nadia, I know I read your personal quote, but what's your one-liner for the world, maybe?
Oh my God. I think self-love is the key. Like we talk a lot about wanting a better community, but what it comes at the end, for me anyway, is that I had to go through learning about myself and what was stopping me from achieving what I wanted. I had to go and look inward, and I took a lot of time by myself just to see what was my issues. I realized that when I want to drive somewhere, and it's easy to get in the car and just drive, but if there's a flat tire, it's not going to go that smooth. and the flat tires are like the false belief and the stories that we've captured in a long time ago. We don't even know it's there. So self-reflection and also basically love and self-love. This is what I would go back to, because once we tap into that place of love, we can achieve a lot more. Like I think Dennis was saying earlier, you get into the place where when you don't have hope, you know, you get cynicism. So I just go back to that self-love and then spread it outward.
That's brilliant. So it's a lot to do with the ripple effect. One of the things I use is it's about focus on what it is and then flow to flourish. So we can use that to focus, to flow, and to flourish in our own environment, in impacting everybody. And I find it fascinating at the moment because I don't go out that many places. I go down the walkway, we go and visit Lisa, we go to the supermarket, but I live through the screen now. And the thing about a magical conversation when we're in touch with each other is to be in a circle. So I'm going to come back to that circle, it keeps on flowing, keeps on flowing. So Linda, what is your cut on the world and yourself?
Well, I would hope in the next few years that we get accessible mental health care. I feel that that would help with allowing education and knowledge to actually help fuel empathy for the perspective to help understand what others are going through, because I think there's so many people that are into self-preserving right now. And if you actually had the empathy to help understand where, and the perspective of where other people are coming from, then the world would actually be a better place. But you can't do that unless you're in the right state of mind for it first. And in my opinion, I would think that we need more accessible healthcare for mental health to begin with, because a lot of people are going through depression and a lot of other things, and you can't get past go without having a healthy state of mind. And then I think that also that we need to have education, you know, more accessible, and better teachers that give people that understanding and a sense of perspective and empathy. So that's my take.
Thank you. Yes. So when we start looking at some of these bigger issues like environment, education, obviously the justice system, there are lots of things that we might think we need some systemic change. It's possible. Anything is possible. So one of the things I have mentioned before, but just to remind us, that reverse engineering is actually going to the future and then coming back from the future. So unlike the film going, was it Back to the Future? It's back from the future. And it's as we go forward, it's really clearly painting that picture. I love pictures. So the words that we've all used are really, really good. And I'm going to ask Lisa now for her one-liner as well. But I want you to think about what could be something actually very practical that we might do differently as we go to that desired thing. So when they wanted to go to the moon, they went to the moon and worked out what the gravitational force was to come off the moon. And that's where they started. They said, right, it's no good us getting there if we can't get back. So I believe that was a story. And in fact, we're so far advanced now, we've got more technology in our mobile than they use to get to the moon, I believe, probably. So anything is possible. So Lisa, what's your one-liner on the desired future?
Pauline, if I can interrupt, I have to go, but it's great chatting with all of you. And thanks for inviting me, Pauline. I apologize for leaving early, but you know I had
That's okay. We're very glad you came, and we'll encourage everybody to read Biz Catalyst and to sign up and to send articles to you.
Thank you,
to
Pauline.
share the word. Thank you. Hi, Lisa. Where are you? There you are.
I think you all are a tough act to follow because everyone has already summed up what we all want in this future in their own way and what is relevant to them. And I think just now when Linda was talking, and Linda's a dear friend of mine as well, you know, this idea of empathy combined with this self-preservation world right now. I think that's the ticket. Although everyone's message was so beautifully stated and articulate, I think it really comes down to the execution of everything that we're all saying. If I were the first sentence coming out, I would have kept it a little bit more of a microcosm of what I'm going through in my world right now. But we kind of got to talk a little bit about what we all expect from the world bringing to us and us bringing to the world. But when it all comes down to it, we assess our own input and our own ability to provide something. And I actually connected with every single one of you thinking, yes, that's it. So the whole time you guys were kind of looking at my gray roots because I was thinking, oh, that's what I'm going to say. But really, what happened was I just took it all in like a wonderful, wonderful breakfast and thought, wow, where do I start? I don't start, I kind of finish. I say, my plan was to kind of impress upon you all that I come from a place of kindness and wellness and a bit of caretaking. But you know, the caretaking thing doesn't work unless you've got that mask on first, and then you can take care of everyone else. But what I realized here was that when we started with that idea of empathy, and we ended with that idea of empathy because without self-awareness and being able to observe what's happening in the world, we can't execute everything we just talked about. And I think that that's the exciting part of what we're all trying to do and what Pauline and I are trying to do together along with Jim, her husband, is to sit down with small groups, big groups, whoever it is, and say, what's your plan? What do you want to provide for your future and for the future of all of us? And with this kind of exponential moment, we all walk away with 1, 2, 3, 4, 12 new ideas of how we can execute our own idea. And I love that. I have this is full of notes that just came from the last 10 minutes where, you know, at the end of the day, we can have our own idea, but if we combine it with 9 or 10 other great ideas, now we have a huge recipe to work with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. And I think what's lovely about this is that all these words, I've got more words now, which I'll review when I review the sound as well, is that without sharing, we don't get more words to our repertoire. And I think one of our challenges, there are a lot of people in the world who are not sharing like this. They're stuck either in their family home or a difficult situation. We know there's a rise in domestic violence. We know there are a lot of crisis CEOs going, oh my God, you know, I read something from McKinsey this morning that said 90% of CEOs are saying this has changed my life forever, but I don't know where it's going. So it's about living in the unknown. So I wondered if we just at the end here, whether there were anybody, because I've got one idea I have shared before, one actually really straightforward, simple idea that might actually practically change the environment that people live in. And mine was, and I mentioned this before on a call, was if I could change every single boardroom table from a square table to a round, I think we would have a much better energy. So it's a bit like Nadia's story. I picture all the CEOs and the C-suite coming in, and it's always a round table. It's always the King Arthur moment, and it's always a light room, and there's refreshments, and it's the energy of every meeting is created also by the environment as well as people understanding each other.
True.
But anybody got an idea, a very practical like that?
Well, I think.
Oh, Fanny, yeah. Hang on a second. Fanny,
That's a wonderful place to build from, Pauline. I think if you're just looking for ideas, like Lisa said, to come up with a recipe, which I think better recipes don't always have all the ingredients, but they have just enough to not be simple. Bread, right? Bread is great, but good recipes take more ideas. So a round table is incredible. We talked about fun and chilling out. I think that we definitely need to have a look at how we value each other on how we look, right? Like there's a lot of heavy burden to portray an image to somebody, either your supervisor or your boardroom, and versus being comfortable and right?
So relaxing our state of dress.
Well, not to the point where we're going in flip-flops to the boardroom, if you will. Yes, too, right? Like I've been to plenty investor meetings where they're talking about $100 million deals, and the guys in the room are wearing flip-flops. So I believe if we nail it down to a point where we can actually have a conversation with the person that's wearing the skin, because sometimes a suit becomes a suit of armor.
Hi.
Right?
Okay. Hello. So the idea, that's great. Has anybody else got a practical idea? Fanny, you've got your hand up.
I would like to, through conversation, increase financial education and also remove the taboo that we have around money. I think that would massively change what is happening on the planet.
Great. Anybody else got a quick idea that we can put on the list? Adriana?
I've always believed that we should get rid of men wearing ties in the corporate world. I think that would be step number one. And then 2 would be to add beach balls, that everyone needs to carry a beach ball in the workplace, because that integrates your physiological and state of mind. Like you begin to be playful again. And then when you get rid of the ties and you've got beach balls, that's a good combination, I think. That's practical.
We'll have a playroom. Yeah, I like that idea. Anybody else got a cool idea?
Pauline, I think I have one.
You know, Boris.
My focus has always been about how do I help individuals themselves solve their pressing challenges and what they're focused on. If I help the individual, I think it solves the collective issue of people being able to work in their purpose and develop value creation and develop their unique abilities. And so when you had your dynamic up there with the me and you and me and the we, I thought to myself in the context of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, everybody always starts with the me first. You know, that's the egocentric portion. And the way I think we overcome that is we meet people where they start, at the me. How can I help you accomplish what you're trying to accomplish in your life? And then we have a collective you and me and we discussion about how that works together. You know, I think that's a great starting place.
Great. Georgina.
I've actually got two things I want to mention. One, it's not something that I work in, but I am a great believer that hospitals are factories of the sick. And I think that we need to change the way that they function so that they focus on health and well-being, because they don't support health and well-being. They focus on the sickness and the illness and disease, and they're the most unhealthy places to be, which I think is appalling. But the other thing is actually in response to what Scott was saying about, you know, seeing strength in communities. What I'm loving about the coronavirus is the fact that it's like, you know, many areas of the world are finding that they're short of PPE, they're short of, the NHS are short of scrubs, they're short of masks, they're short of mask extenders, etc., to stop them from, you know, suffering while they're actually trying to help people who are sick. And it's been the communities themselves that have self-organized in the most phenomenal way. And I see leadership happening from the bottom up because of the communities developing great strength in how they deliver what the community needs themselves, instead of being dependent from this hierarchical, centralized system that actually is no longer serving its purpose, is no longer working.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. So it's
Can I jump in?
Changing the narrative. Yeah, Scott.
I thank you, Georgina, and thank you, Boris, because I'm sorry, I'm a little bit excited. Maslow's hierarchy, it's all of the pyramids we've been chasing in life are point up. We've been focusing on getting to the top and putting pressure down. We give orders down, it goes down. Our society's been at the base and it's collapsed. What if we turn that triangle upside down? We wedge the triangle into the ground. The point becomes the infinity point, which is you. You only need support 2 people so that they can support 2 people. So yes. Then there's got 4, 8, 16, 32. All of a sudden we've got infinite opportunity rather than getting to the top of a mountain and having nowhere to go. So if we turn the society around, so that we strengthen ourselves so that we can support others, then that's where the absolute beauty lies. Like, and sorry to point out, Boris, but Maslow's hierarchy, I'm playing with it at the minute because it's just, I just feel like there's a whole new way to go. And so my little thing for CEOs is create dream time. And I didn't understand the experience until I just had to take off. So I took off with my son and we chased rainbows, and it was the most magnificent thing I've ever done. And I actually ended up inside an Indigenous community where I learnt about the plant life and how I could eat the plant life. I ate an entire day of plant life just walking around nature's garden, bringing that into it, dream. And I think personally, I'm going to go really deep really quick, but sorry to everyone. There's so many opportunity in our Indigenous people, and they've all got their dream times. They've all got their rainbows, you know, and if we investigate those things, one of the most beautiful things, you remember when you look at a kid, the kid learns something and they get it for that first time, the excitement's in their eyes. It's just stunning. We've forgotten how to do that. We've forgotten how to create that dream, follow that dream. So, yeah. So I seriously, I just put that into one sentence. I'm sorry, I could not do that. But anyway, I'm going to sit back for a second. Well, and by the way, sorry, Pauline, jump over. So you're all gorgeous. Thank you so much. I'm sitting there. I'm doing the same. At least I'm taking notes. Right. Sorry.
Good. That's excellent. And we were joined by Ashma. Is that how I explain your name? I hope so. Who I haven't not met before, so welcome. We've literally got 5 minutes. I think one of the things I'd love to do is to share more, but shape more. So I said on the thing is about sharing and shaping, and to meet again in a month's time, and to look at these really practical ideas. You know, what would it like the round table, like having an upside down Maslow's hierarchy on the wall, having the, what was it, Adriana, the beach ball? No, the thingy ball. Introducing with my singing partner, Lisa, and I know Tammy sings as well, and I'm sure everybody sings. I don't sing, but you know, more fun, more interaction in that way. And the other one is food, because Audrey is a cook here, so she's a chef, rather, I say that. But
can I add one more thing? Can we add light?
Yeah, in Malaysia, every single meeting you go to, there's food.
Yeah.
And you must eat. So it could be a very corporate business meeting. There'll always be food, and if you don't eat, that's very impolite. And actually, you suddenly realise there's different ways of doing things in different cultures, and I would love, in my desired future, that we learn from different cultures.
I go to a fantastic meeting on a Friday morning online, and there's about 60 of us online, and we always start with a dance.
Oh, that's nice.
There's a track playing, and I tell you, it just lifts my spirits every single Friday morning. It's fantastic.
I've got a video clip of Footloose where it goes through all sorts of different genres, and from Michael Jackson to Elvis Presley, and my feet are tapping straight away. So yeah, I think introducing that into the boardroom.
Yes.
So my vision of the future as we come to the end here is that we're not wearing ties. The men are not in flip-flops, but the men and women have a narrative together that business is run by men and women of all diverse and all different. We celebrate differences, we enjoy differences, we understand that health and wellness is a really important part of life in business. And I have passion for that, and I believe that women have brought that to the world of business even before COVID, and now is the time to make sure that we energize our business world, not just with empathy, but as you say, with love and fun and curiosity and imagination and joy, and hugs when we're allowed to, discreetly, obviously. And
hey, Pauline.
The dream time is really important. I love that Georgina put that's one. I so agree with you about the dream time. Maybe we all need to go off and chase rainbows. I made an illustration once with Jim, and I'd love to share it with you. I'll send it to you. And I painted a picture, and underneath it I had grey clouds, and the grey clouds are all the stuff that we get stuck in, like money issues or arguments or whatever it is. But the rainbow is where we write our intentions. So I want to make sure that we finish on time, and I have recorded it, and I will send the recording to all of you.
Thank you.
And there are other people who are listening, I think, not on the screen. And there's Quinn. I know you were there before, Quinn.
Yeah.
While we're just here, I want you all to smile at the camera because I'm going to take a photograph. Good.
Can I throw something on top of your clouds? I'm really sorry, but without clouds, we don't have rain, so we don't get the rainbows.
Well, that's
so
right.
We've got to experience the clouds, yeah? So let's enjoy them. Sorry.
You've got to experience the clouds, but just some people get stuck in the clouds, and we've got to remember the rainbow. So one of the things I wrote down just to finish off is to say, write your intentions, allow for interruptions in your life, and innovate as we all need to. And I would like to invite each one of you to come back again in a month's time and maybe think about what are the real, if you like, practical things that we could make suggestions, which we started to do now. So it may be for the environment, for education, even for the justice system, whatever it is. And to keep on collating all these bits of information. And I shall what do you call it? Script what's been written today, and Lisa and I with your notes as well, Lisa, we can bring the story of this particular session together and report it back to you. So we're now at 10 o'clock. I don't want to go over time, but I would like to invite just Quinn, do you have a one-word sentence you could deliver, and Rashma, as we haven't heard your voice yet, very quickly.
One word's hard, but I better together. And I think that, we're seeing this now. And I love that there's a group here from all around the world. And I think, we fear what we don't know. And the more that we learn about everybody, it all comes together. And, one of the things that I look at is, we're 99.99% the same. And so it's that 1.01 that is so different that gives us this beautiful, kaleidoscope that we have right in front of us. But at our essence, we're so much alike. And if we would, start from that point and then appreciate everything that was different, if you think about the world and you see everybody standing around it, gravity keeps us all centered, but we're not falling off, but we're also standing at different places. And so, I just think it's a great opportunity, and I love what we've been able to do with, these formats. And thank you, Pauline, for bringing, everyone here together. So that was a very long run on sentence, but that's.
Thank you. Rashma, is there anything you would like to say to us? Can you hear me? I'm not sure whether, Rashmi, can you hear me? Rashma?
Yes.
Is there one very short sentence you could give us as a desired future that you want?
Sorry?
Is there one word of hope or stimulation for a desired future? That
yeah. I'm being a healer.
You're a healer.
So my desire is health for everyone.
Yes.
Good health for everyone. And in a very normal way, in a very little expenses, because health is a very costly in all over the world.
Yeah.
Medical charges and all those things. But I want to give the health to everybody without any burden on their pockets.
Okay, yes. So health
and
for everyone.
I'm doing it from last 40 years, giving healing to the people for the cancer, asthma, leukoderma, diabetes, successfully. I'm giving the healing with 100% results.
Wow.
Thank you. We are so appreciated, and I so appreciate you coming in on this call.
So much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
This is my first conference. That's why some hesitation is there.
Well done, thank you. So just
it is not a national, it's an international first conference of mine. That's why I'm hesitating. The whole thing.
Where are you?
Now nothing, because we all are friends.
Where are you calling in from? Where are you living?
I'm from India.
Sorry? In India. So that is wonderful. So we've got USA, UK, India, Malaysia, and Australia, and Wales. Sorry, Wales. That's pretty good.
You're from USA.
Well, I'm in the USA, Ashma, but I'm British, but I'm in America. So we welcome you. I'm so pleased that you could come today. We haven't met before, so that is a magical conversation. And all my lovely, lovely, lovely friends, I so appreciate.
It's good.
Good.
I enjoy it because I was getting very fear about that. How I will speak, I don't know.
You speak
because these people are very big and very poor. But I find that you and we both are sailing in the same boat.
Yes, we're all in the same boat. Thank you so much for coming in. I'm so pleased you came from India. This is wonderful. This is my dream. My dream for a desired future is to have magical conversations which stretch across.
Now I would like to participate again and again.
Yes, you will, and we will make sure that you are with us. Right?
Are you from?
Yeah, but we have to finish now because we are come to time. So I will be in touch with you, Rashmi, and we'll make sure that we get you on board right early next time. Thank you. I want to thank all of you for coming. I will take the recording down and send it all to you. As I say, Lisa and I will confer and put all the notes together. And let's look next time at building this ripple, this wonderful ripple of love and harmony Fanny, did you want to say something?
My healing base is on vibrations.
Okay.
Sound, I diagnose the people by the sound vibrations.
Oh, that's good. So we'll look at that next time. Just want to ask Fanny what
it was just to say, if people want to save the chat, you just click the 3 little right dots to the bottom next to everyone, and then everybody gets what's in the chat.
Okay, yes, we can. I'll save it as well. But if any of you want to save that, that's there. And what I love about life is that we're in a very eclectic mix, and it is absolutely what life is about, is the mixture. It's like if you bake a cake, and I don't bake cakes, but I know lots of you do, you have to put the ingredients in for different types of cakes. And it's the same with music, different types of notes, same with dance. And this is what it's all about, is valuing the differences and celebrating the differences. And I celebrate all of you, and I will be in touch with all of you.
Thank you. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Everybody. Bye.
Thank you, Scott, for coming in.
That's, how the hell do you put everything that I've got to say into one sentence? I'm
But,
so sorry.
Let's have a conversation later, Scott, and later on the day. And Audrey and Rebecca and Roshma, I'll get back to you later.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Bye for now.
Bye.